My friends, there is yet another wonder concealed within the path of self-forgetting, a wonder so delicate, so subtle, that only the quiet heart can perceive it. I speak now of the mysterious geometry by which life arranges itself around the soul who has stepped aside from his own center.
For when the self loosens its grip, life begins to move with a loveliness that no amount of planning or striving could produce. Events align, circumstances soften, doors open of their own accord. What once felt random or adversarial becomes strangely coherent. The world, sensing a person free from self-claim, begins to conspire gently for his good.
This is not magic, nor superstition, nor the childish dream that the universe arranges itself to grant your desires. Rather, it is something far simpler and far more profound. A life lived without the ego's interference becomes a life lived in the natural flow of things, and nature is far wiser than our ambitions.
You have seen rivers. They do not struggle to reach the sea. They simply follow their slope. And in that effortless descent, they carve valleys, feed forests, shape continents. So too does a soul, once freed of the ego's frantic insistence, begin to participate in a greater design. I have observed that relationships, too, transform when the self disappears. Most quarrels arise not from true discord, but from two egos colliding, each desperate to preserve its delicate structure. Remove the ego, and conflict evaporates like mist before sunrise.
Love, true love, soul love, is impossible for the self-centered. For love requires spaciousness. It is the art of allowing another to exist freely without being bent toward your wants, your fears, your need for recognition. A person who has forgotten himself becomes, at last, capable of love, not as a performance, nor as a negotiation, but as a natural fragrance of his being.
He listens, not to reply, not to defend, not to compare, but simply to understand. He speaks, not to impress, not to persuade, but to illuminate what is true. He gives, not to be admired, nor remembered, but because giving has become as instinctive as breathing. This is the love the world hungers for, the love that is without self in it.
Consider destiny as well. How many among us strain to discover their purpose, as though it were a treasure buried in the earth, requiring sweat and injury to unearth? Yet purpose is not found by the ego. It is revealed in the stillness left behind when the ego falls silent. The self seeks a grand role. The soul seeks the next right step. And the infinite asks only that we be transparent enough for its light to pass through. A man who has forgotten himself may appear outwardly ordinary. He may plow a field, teach children, mend shoes, tend a garden. Yet there emanates from him a dignity that no title, no accolade, no achievement could bestow. He is at home in the universe, and the universe recognizes him as kin. Even his suffering takes on a different hue. It does not vanish, for pain is part of the human condition, but it no longer becomes a personal tragedy. It becomes weather passing through. It becomes fire that refines. It becomes the gentle chisel shaping the soul's contours. Such a man does not cling to comfort, for he knows it is temporary. He does not curse adversity, for he sees that it teaches him how to stand without the crutch of the self. He greets joy without grasping and sorrow without resistance. And in this freedom, life becomes immeasurably beautiful. But do not imagine that such a state isolates one from the world. Quite the opposite. The self-forgotten person becomes more deeply connected to all things. He sees himself in every face. He hears his own heartbeat echoed in the heartbeat of the world. Compassion arises not from duty, but from recognition. When he meets anger, he sees pain behind it. When he meets greed, he sees fear beneath it. When he meets cruelty, he sees confusion at its root. And so he responds not with judgment, but with clarity, not with condemnation, but with steadiness. Such steady souls are the true healers of the world, not because they fix others, but because their presence invites others to remember themselves. And let me add this one more insight, subtle yet powerful. When the self is forgotten, your very breath becomes a blessing. Your silence becomes instruction. Your stillness becomes guidance. You become, without intent or design, a tuning fork that helps others vibrate with their own forgotten frequency.
This is the hidden geometry of a self-forgotten life. The less you stand at the center, the more everything aligns around you. The less you claim, the more you receive. The less you seek recognition, the more your presence becomes unmistakable. And the less you hold to identity, the more your true nature shines.